All right, y'all. Welcome to Street Church Congregation. Come on in. And for first time visitors, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, this video it's a sad one. It's gonna be a sad one. It's a sick one, it's a sadistic one, it's a sad one. It's just all of those things and more. And let me first say to the families of Veronica Butler and to the family of Jillian Kelly, I give you my deepest sympathies and my condolences to the loss of your loved ones. What a tragic thing um, that happened here in Oklahoma. Um, Two women um, reported missing, and then a couple weeks later, they found um, the bodies of Veronica Butler, 27, age 27, and Jillian Kelly, age 39. Sad, sad, sad. And this was over hatred, jealousy, religious fanaticism, narcissistic behavior, narcissistic mind, and an evil, evil, evil person, right? And persons involved in the murders of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly out of Oklahoma. It was believed that what could have been a motive behind their murders was the fact that Veronica Butler uh, was in a custody battle for her kids with the grandmother of the kids. And Jillian Kelly was the person who was allowed to supervise the visits between the grandmother of the children and her. The grandmother, Jillian, who was a friend of Veronica Butler, right? And I believe like it was their relationship was connected also through them being church members together at a church that they attended, Veronica and Jillian, right? And the grandmother was some kind of sick religious nut, just some crazed religious sick nut who belonged to some kind of religious cult called God's Misfit. And now listen, let me say this to you. Where this was happening would be like this is like right the scenery, the area that they lived in and all this would be like a horror movie. Okay? Right? But this was real. This was reality. This really happened just weeks ago. But this would be like God's Misfit. That's right out of some kind of B movie, right? But this is what this was. Some cult-minded religious um sickos, right? Um whose minds were feeble, whose hearts were wicked, whose souls were dark. They just were evil people. Everybody, all four of these, the grandmother and the three others that was involved in these murders, they was just sick and evil. And they were under the sway of the devil. And they belonged to the devil and are the devil's children. And anyway, the custody battle made this woman bitter and evil and she set her heart against Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly for doing nothing more than just being a good friend to Veronica and a responsible person and an upstanding person, and just was being the supervisor over the supervisions. And most likely, she probably made it as easy as possible for these supervisions to take place between the grandmother and the children that she was trying to have a custody battle over. And this woman, this sick grandmother, decided to, with three other people, to murder Veronica and Jillian, and then just discard their bodies like garbage somewhere, uh, miles out from where they lived at in the town they lived in. Now, I got a thumbnail. If you think I'm playing and you think that these people don't look like they come right out of a B movie, I have a thumbnail that you see before this video comes on. You see these four individuals, and that's what they look like. They look like the type of people that cast for a horror B movie. But it's reality. These people were real people who murdered these two innocent young women who had their whole lives ahead of them. And it's just sad and it's sick. And it was for no good reason. And it's never a good reason to murder somebody in cold blood, premeditated murder. But just for a lack of me being able to put better words together, this is all I can say for no good reason. Let me tell you another thing. If it took 2 weeks for them to find those bodies, you know the scene was gruesome when they found Veronica and Jillian. Veronica Butler, age 27, and Jillian Kelly, age 39. You know that their bodies were starting to decompose. Rigor mortis had long set in. That it was just horrible. And if they got, found, like, mercifully, if they just got found in their car, like they were in the car, then the elements and creepy crawly things didn't manage to get to them yet. But if they were murdered and taken outside of the vehicle that they was driving in when they were abducted and then murdered, then you know that it was horrible, because the elements after 2 weeks had gotten to them somewhat. And so the scene was going to be gruesome. Man, this is some sick stuff. This is some real sick stuff. But thankfully that the family got some closure by them finally finding them after 2 weeks. And I don't know if Oklahoma has got the death penalty, but if they do, it should be on the table. It should be on the table. And here's another thing. The grandmother was said to be belonging to some small chapter of the Republican Party, down there where it's some kind of, they got a panhandle down there, and I'm not quite sure what a panhandle is and stuff. But what I'm thinking is that, because I'm thinking Oklahoma, and I'm thinking woodsy, and I'm thinking mountainy, right? And I'm thinking people in Oklahoma probably like to live off the reservation, off the grid in these areas, in certain areas. And I'm thinking that this is almost one of this place where people are living off the grid, living off the reservation, and living off the land, right? Because this is what these people look like. That they live, for the most part, off the land, and to be sick as they was to carry out something like this, they were off the grid in their brains. And so, the Republican Party, the RNC, the general RNC, just dismissed them and downplayed how she was able to become a part of the she was the president. And they said, well, it's so small that the party could have been just two people. But I don't think they should have downplayed it like that. They should have investigated. Did they do due diligence? Because it might be something that they need to change in their vetting process. Because she still should have got vetted. I don't care how small the party was in that chapter. She still could have been vetted. So I thought that was, I thought that wasn't good, a good look for the RNC. They should have investigated, see if, it was another, revise the way that they process and vet. That's a huge thing. She could have did more damage representing herself as an RNC president of a chapter in the United States. She could have did damage and represented herself and put them in a bad light. And so you would think you want to, right, check that out. Get a little bit more in depth. Do a little bit more due diligence. Check that out. How did she become president down there? How many members it was? And see what you can do to improve on that. But that's just for the RNC, Republican National Convention. If people don't know what I'm talking about the Republican Party, their convention. So anyway, or caucus or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, this was a tragedy. This was sad. I am glad that they found the young women. I hope that Veronica's children that she was fighting, the grandmother of the children for, they will be placed in a loving home, hopefully with people from Veronica's family or her friends, to where they won't grow up nowhere around their grandmother's family. Not one bit. Not one bit. Ever. Nobody in this woman's family should be allowed to be in contact or in a relationship with those children. But yeah, this was sad. This was very sad. But on that note, listen, I just need y'all to like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know if y'all know any more information about what I'm talking about. Two Oklahoma women, Veronica Butler, age 27, Jillian Kelly, age 39, were found murdered 2 weeks after being missing. And the grandmother and 3 other people belonging to some religious sick cult called God's Misfits were arrested. And so, drop a comment, run the views up. Let me know that y'all watching me. Let me know that y'all with me and y'all supporting me. I appreciate all the subscribers and all the supporters of this channel. And on that, I'm letting the congregation out. God bless.